NFTs. It seems like they're taking over the world. Everywhere you turn, somebody owns an NFT. From Grimes to Snoop Dogg, hell, I even own an NFT. Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's crazy! But in all seriousness, in today's video, me and FireCerberus5 are going to be diving into the strange world of NFTs.
Damn, the shit is genuine. Easy come, easy go, easy money, cash flow. Eeny, meeny, money, mo, money, get that dough. Solid gold, follow, like, comment, and retweet. When they speak about the devil, man, they're speaking about me.
But to dive deep into the world of NFTs, we must first have a baseline understanding of what an NFT is. An NFT is basically described by its name, non-fungible token. The word fungible basically means replaceable or many of a kind. However, the word non-fungible would mean one of a kind. Every single NFT that has been minted, which basically just means solidifying it as a token, is currently stored on the blockchain. And the blockchain is basically just a chain of blocks, and blocks are basically just a ton of random letters and numbers if you don't know how to read them. And anything can be stored as a non-fungible token, from an image file to a GIF file to just like a text file. However, most NFTs are traditionally images. However, traditionally something like non-fungible tokens would not be well known to the public. Because of how complicated NFTs are, this is something that you'd expect to stay within like nerd circles, not something you'd expect Snoop Dogg to be creating. So how did NFTs become so popular? Well, the truth is, nobody really knows. NFTs certainly didn't come out of nowhere. They've been a thing since at least 2014, but their popularity certainly did. Some people have claimed NFTs became popular due to the pandemic. However, I don't believe this is necessarily true. If this were true, it would mean that NFTs would see a surge in popularity in 2020, not in 2021. Why would they become suddenly popular in the middle of a pandemic? Why not at the start of it, when people would be most likely to replace a real-life collecting hobby with an online collecting hobby? Even if the reason for NFT's sudden popularity isn't concrete, people's thoughts on them certainly are. It feels like it would be an understatement to say that NFTs are a polarizing topic. There's so many people out there that seem to just despise NFTs with their whole soul, like NFTs killed their dog or something. But on the other hand, there are people who think NFTs are the best thing to ever come into existence. They will pull out their wallet and start showing you pictures of virtual monkeys they purchased like they're their babies. It's really hard to find any sort of middle ground on the topic of NFTs, because nearly everybody who's heard of them have either jumped on the hate train for NFTs or the love train for NFTs. Literally just go on Twitter and search up NFTs. It seems like it's impossible to analyze NFTs from a moderate perspective, especially with so many people trying to pull you one way or the other. However, that's what I'm going to attempt to do. One side claims that the NFTs are bad for the environment. However, the other side says that these claims are unreasonable and overblown, especially when modern-day blockchain technology is taken into consideration. One side says NFTs have no value because they're backed by nothing. The other side says the US dollar has no value because it's backed by nothing. One side says NFTs are bad because they're used in money laundering. The other side says that conventional art is bad because it's used in money laundering. Now, I'll dive into whether these points are right or wrong later on in this video, but for now, I'm just trying to make the point that there are so many arguments to be made for and against NFTs.
So the main reason why NFTs are disliked is that since they are entirely digital, you don't own them, thus making the question, if I can't even use this in the real world, what's the point of owning it? I mean, what kind of pea-brained idiot would spend their money on something they can't even have? Little do people know that NFTs aren't the first instance of a digital possession. Commissions are art pieces similar to NFTs in that they're only available digitally. Instead of paying a fixed amount for a variation of generative art, the commissioner can give different options for how the piece wants to be done, whether it be a sketch, flat colors, shading, and other variations that make the piece more detailed and unique. Compared to NFTs, commissioners don't use blockchain technology to store their art. Their images are available on the internet with no code behind to verify it, but the client can always ask for a file containing all the layers used, although most of the time, the artist simply can't afford to do it for personal reasons. One more piece of information to talk about would be the pricing. The price varies from artist to artist, which can be attributed to things like experience, recognition in the community, choice of detailing, and whether they make normal art or NSFW.
Not so fast!
Most NFTs are made by a technique called generative art, which basically consists of generating an image by selecting different parts and putting them together to make a new image. Most artists have come to dislike NFTs, saying that they don't give the artist behind them any power and that they're more of a money laundering scheme. Virtual worlds like Club Penguin have become famous for allowing its users to do things that normally they wouldn't be able to do in real life. Essentially, it's a metaverse before a Facebook game and tainted the name. Virtual worlds are also the epitome of what a capitalist society would be like, separating the players into two groups, the free-to-plays and the ones with money to burn. Speaking of money, did you know that it's actually possible to also earn money through these virtual hangouts? Like I said, there are two kinds of people in these games, those that have money and those that don't. And of those that have, they can enjoy a few advantages like getting their monies back. In Roblox, if you're a game developer and have a game that has made it big, you can use the DevX program to change your worthless Robux back into real-world dollars. The same goes for Second Life, which has evolved into having a fully established economy with many different factors accompanying it. All of these transactions are recorded in a server, where they are verified or reported depending on the rules of the game, which is similar to a blockchain. However, a blockchain is decentralized, which means that it is controlled by several people or entities rather than a single one. Next up, let's talk about something that some of you might already know. Recently, Valve banned all games that contain cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology. They didn't specify the reason why, but it probably has to do with the bad reputation NFTs have been given by shady individuals and scammers. This isn't even the first crypto-related ban. So if Valve banned NFTs from its platform, why am I even talking about it? Well, you already read the answer. While doing research, I found an article on PC Gamer called "Steam might not like NFTs, but it laid the groundwork for it." The article goes into detail about how Valve was directly responsible for monetizing some of its most popular games like CSGO, Artifact, and one that I'll talk about in a minute. Speaking of these games, it should be worth talking about them for a bit. In CSGO, you can obtain skins for your weapons by praying for luck and getting a good unbox, or through the Steam Community Market. Artifact features the same integration with the Steam Marketplace as CSGO, but you don't really hear much about that game anymore because... But I think that there is one game that has done more to pave the way for NFTs, a game which I would say was a direct inspiration for other virtual economies. A game that was the reason why I made this comparison. At first, it was hard for me to come up with a comparison, but after a long time thinking, I realized that Team Fortress 2's ads are just NFTs if they were respected. I mean, take a look at this comparison. Let's say that you are the owner of an NFT and you decide to tell your friend about it. After telling him, the conversation can go two ways. 1. He laughs at the fact you just spent 4 digits on an image he can just right-click Save As. Or 2. He says, NFT? What's that? And this conversation branches off into two possibilities. After a short explanation of what NFTs are, your friend says, "Okay, but I still think it's ridiculous that you spent 4 digits on an image." Your friend laughs just like in the first outcome. Now let's say that you're the owner of a tier 2 unusual, and you decide to tell your friend about it. After telling him about it, the dialogue tree is the same as before with only a few differences. After you tell him this fact, 1. He's impressed at what you have obtained. 2. He doesn't know, so you begin to explain to him, and once again, the conversation branches. Okay, but how much did it cost? What? How much did the hat cost? Well, I didn't buy it, but I found it on an unboxing spree. I got it at my 13th grade, so technically it cost me $32.37. So wait, you're saying that you got it from an unboxing spree? And considering that the chances of obtaining one are really low, means that in the end you could have come out with nothing? I'm still impressed, but you should be careful with handling these things. I don't want to see your life get ruined by some gambling addiction. Wow! And you said there was less than 1% chance of getting that? Of course, this is what might happen when talking with a single friend. When you tell that to the community, they'll compliment you for your new possession. But what if you were special and wanted to tell everyone that you own a virtual item, instead of, keeping that information private to yourself and the seller? The answer is pretty obvious.
In this segment, me and FireCerberus5 are going to be discussing several issues with NFTs and possible ways to fix them.
For our first topic, we will be discussing the impact NFTs have had on the environment. For one, the transfer, sale, and creation of NFTs has a significant negative impact on the environment.
However, even without NFTs, the environment would still be negatively affected by cryptocurrency being mined, whether NFTs are involved or not.
And that's not ignoring the environmental impact of other services unrelated to the blockchain. Some more recent NFT technologies have gone for a cleaner approach, like using proof of stake instead of proof of work and using off-chain transactions for minting an NFT.
Which is why, overall, NFTs' impact on the environment can be for the most part disregarded.
As described earlier, public opinion for NFTs is either you love them or you hate them. There is no middle ground, which is what alienates most people from talking about the subject. And I think that's what it needs, a more moderate viewpoint which points out not just its strengths, but also its flaws.
I definitely agree. The public's opinion on NFTs lacks a common middle ground. Nobody who thinks NFTs are worthless is going to listen to a crypto bro explain how NFT technology is the pathway to the future of currency. And no crypto bro is going to listen to a dirty right clicker talk about how NFTs look stupid.
I don't doubt that change may be possible, but it might take some time for public opinion on NFTs to change.
Especially since people are swayed by the opinions of people who aren't educated on NFTs, on both sides. Up next, let's talk about the people behind NFTs. Many, and I mean many, talented artists have jumped on the NFT bandwagon. And beyond that, a lot of ordinary people are being employed by NFT companies, which means that NFTs have created an entire new industry for people to work in.
However, the ugly heads of this industry have reared themselves earlier than anticipated. Recently, Troy Baker partnered with VoiceVerse NFT and amplified the divide by straight up saying, "You can hate or you can create." This fanned the flames of division between those that stand for and against NFTs, and this isn't the only example. Furthermore, Disney dug up the corpse of Stan Lee once more to promote NFTs. Konami, being Konami, announced an NFT collection to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Castlevania, and Sega, considering how hot the climate of NFTs was, decided to back out of their plans to make super games with NFTs if it was perceived as a money-making scheme.
So clearly, NFT companies aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Although NFTs provide jobs for many, and I personally know a good number of upstanding people working in NFT communities, things get a bit muddled when large companies or bad actors get involved. There have been many pump and dump crypto NFT projects by big celebrities, which may net them a lot of cash, but in turn scam their audience.
And as a result, Other related projects end up getting a bad name because of word association, even if they are the furthest thing away from a scam.
Finally, we should talk about probably the most important subject. How can NFTs be fixed? With so many glaring issues with NFTs, we desperately need solutions. So let's go over some proposed solutions. In my opinion, one of the most important things that NFT creators should do is attempt to turn around the stigma of NFTs being scammed. One way that they can do this is by showing the real people behind these projects.
Another solution for this problem would be to better educate people on NFTs. Many people dislike or do not understand NFTs due to a lack of education on blockchain technology and tokens.
When it comes to climate change, due to pressure from the feds in the US and pressure from a multitude of countries and their respective governments, multiple coin and token companies have started to refine their practices to reduce cryptocurrency stress on the environment.
Another solution or option would be to use NFTs as a venue for positive change in the world, or NFTs could be used to correspond to physical items in the real world.
There is just one problem though, and that is the digital nature of NFTs. People prefer to have physical things, and some of those people believe that digital media is temporary, whilst physical media is forever. However, as time passes, the opposite is showing. As physical objects degrade over time, the proposed solution would be to find the perfect balance between physical and digital, which might come sometime in the future. However, until these fixes are implemented, NFTs will continue to be wrapped in controversy and division. What will the future hold for NFTs? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. In my opinion, one of the most important things that NFT creators should do is attempt to turn around the Sigma. No way I just said that. The Sigma.